All right. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Colorado Pauper. My name is Arash. You're probably used to me. If you're not used to me, then there's a bunch of videos where my exact same face shows up. But with me today is someone new. We have Alex. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's happening?
Hello. I'm Alex. I've been playing Magic for pretty much my whole life. Grew up on it with a bunch of my friends. I've been playing
Hmm.
Pauper for about the last 6 years and have been practically one-tricking Coggates,
That's
as
true.
Arash can attest to with the local meta.
Yeah.
But I enjoy my control decks and slow play style, which I'm sure will come out in the commentary during this video. But yeah, I'm just very excited to be here and to get to share this experience.
I'd be really disappointed if the control side of you did not come out, because it would mean that your true personality hasn't come out yet, hasn't been shown, you know?
Exactly. The
Um,
true amount of suffering that you can provide by playing Flickertron.
Although you haven't put us through that torture for a while. You've been
No, I
you.
just feel that every time.
I tried Flickertron the other week and maybe a couple of months ago, and it did not feel great. But now with the boulder, who knows? Who knows with the boulder? Maybe I'll feel a lot better.
I I've ended up only losing to Madness with Flickertron, but every time I play it, I go against a player that says, "This is my first time playing competitive Magic," and I just feel awful.
You should. You should feel awful. But it's really nice to have you back. You were gone for the summer, and it felt as though a integral part of the community was missing. And we had a little bit of a recording before this that was interrupted by my daughter realizing that she could open doors. But the gist of that, of what we were talking about then, was that I viewed you as the final boss. So I'm excited that you're back, so that my final boss is back. um,
Of course.
so
I hope
that's
I can
all.
live up to this standard.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. Um, yeah. All right. Are you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Cool. I'm gonna play the video. And here on our left hand side here we have Dave on mono white, and we have Marcus on the right hand side with Grixis Affinity. This is the 3-0 match for Dave, and I believe that Marcus was 101 going into this. So this is he's Marcus is essentially playing for min cash. So in our mythic events every week, if you go 2 or 1, you basically get 1.5 your store entry. So getting that second win is big money. So both people playing for fairly big stakes here. How do you view this matchup? Who would you give the favor to?
I think that Grixis Affinity is slightly favored in this matchup
Mm-hmm.
between having the full board wipes with Krark Clan Shaman,
Mm-hmm.
difficult to prevent with Prismatic Strands. The Tox analysis really putting in a lot of work there. In addition to that, having colorless Mirror Enforcers and the ability to just keep up with Mono White. While Mono White can sneak in some wins with, I don't know, 8 plus damage Leonardo sometimes on an
Yeah.
unblocked flyer, it can certainly turn the tides, in addition to the addition of Dust to Dust post board that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But I think that Grixis can successfully combat that often with their plentiful sacrifice effects to reduce the value of the Dust to Dust, as well as slowly grind out your opponent, as Marcus always likes to say.
Yeah, I think that also Grixis, and this is what we were sort of talking about before the interruption. I think Grixis has also evolved their sideboards to include like envelop. Some people put in turn aside. Um, I've never really played too much Affinity. I've played a lot of White Weenie, and I felt very comfortable into Affinity. So it's a little bit interesting to me that you're putting the um, sort of favor bar on the Grixis side, because in my mind it's always like I'm happy to see it.
That's actually really interesting because
Yeah.
I've played Grixis a little bit occasionally. Of course, this was before Leonardo was printed,
Mm-hmm.
but going into mono white, I would usually end up winning those sets 2-1, where I would be okay to see it, but know that some luck of the draw could put me out of the game.
Got it. And it looks like Dave is taking a mulligan, as is Marcus. Yeah, so basically you would lose the game where the White Weenie is on the play, where they get the
Yes.
like turn. You're like you only play 2 lands. They dust to dust both of them. But you're saying if you can
Yep.
untap, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Um, that makes a lot of sense because I do agree with you. I think that game one, Grixis Affinity is very favored. I think that usually 90, whatever, some arbitrary percentage amount of the time, White Weenie will lose game one and then hope to make it up by winning game two and three.
Yeah, and I would actually be curious to see how many envelops Marcus ends up running in the sideboard, because I remember between Marcus and Nick at one point, they probably had 6 between the two of them just for my dust at one point.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I said
So
before, you gotta prep for Alex. If you want to go 3-0,
it
you
was
gotta.
it was a great time when Nick showed me the sideboard and said, "I'm debating between putting the 4th envelope in there," and I said, "You're at 3?"
Looks like Marcus is going to 5. Um,
That's oof. That's rough
yeah,
for any deck. Luckily, Grixis has a lot of draw there that you can actually outgrind this nature, especially if you have to end up chump blocking something
yeah,
from a pump. So I think
and
that they could recover from that, but as always, it's bad.
yeah, and I think that White Weenie, though it is like an aggro deck, it's not as aggro as like the really fast aggro decks in the format. Is he going to 4? He's counting to see
That
if he put lands in his deck. That's rough.
okay. 4 is going to be a poor game 1 for Grixis. Luckily, we were talking about that they're favored in the matchup, so I think
Yeah.
that this is
Well,
a good
according
game.
to you. According to you. Oh,
I
game
figured
one.
for game
Yeah.
1. Game
Okay. I
1.
guess a caveat in the earlier Grixis Affinity wins game one when they're not going down to 4.
Yes.
I mean, I play Moto a fair bit, and I play Grixis. It used to be one of the decks I played a fair amount on there, and it was like my 3-2 deck for a while. Gruul also was like my 3-2 deck, and I felt as though I lost so many games to just not seeing lands. They run like 19 lands, and it's like, dog, like what are you doing?
Well, it's 19 lands because every time I play Grixis, you're struggling to get those first couple, and then you draw 6 lands in a row.
That's the truth. Very classic start, double Inspector and Thraben here, getting in for some beats. And oh, there's that Leonardo.
Leonardo,
Yeah.
instantly 2 damage.
Well, hopefully, I mean, as someone who, if you mulligan to 4, do you like seeing your opponent just like slamming a Leonardo? I would kind of be like okay with it. I'd be like, okay, well at least this game is going to be over, right? Like,
I agree with that. End the game soon if it's unwinnable, but I think that there's enough grind where you can hope for a slow start and probably claw your way back.
yeah. And we see a Rafine's Informant ditching a Prismatic Strands and attack for 4, it looks like here. Marcus already down to 14 with only really this Nihil Spellbomb and playing a Refurbished Familiar here. Pretty good for a. Oh, okay. All right. I see you. Yeah, Utron Monitor, and I think Marcus has one hand, but that's quite the board. Holy.
It's a very scary board, but luckily White Weenies can still attack out. Oh, Dust Journey to Nowhere certainly helps with that.
Yeah.
But that Prismatic Strands in the graveyard means that you could even attack into the Utron Monitor for free with Leonardo,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that this pressure can stay for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Besides a tap out fully, so a trade on the Rafine's Informant's gonna be very beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean the prismatic strands, as you say, not super useful in this matchup, and also he has the
Spellbomb.
spell bomb, so it's like fine. And it looks like Marcus is not even going to put out the blood token because he's just going to Reckoner's Bargain it right away.
Hoping to find anything that can stand up as a blocker or removal spell.
Yeah.
I like Nihil Spellbomb in this deck a lot because before you cast a Krark Clan, you can always crack it to remove the strands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And it looks like he has a Galvanic Blast in there, so should be able to survive at least another turn or so.
Yeah, it looks like 2 more turns at the current clock, assuming that strands for red isn't named in response to this,
Yeah, I
which
like
it's
this
not.
heads up play. Yeah, Marcus obviously. Why did he sack the land?
I don't
Okay,
know.
he realizes that he doesn't need to. Okay, okay. I like this. Very heads up play by Marcus, sacking the Nihil Spellbomb before he puts the. It was a Card Clan Shaman. Before he puts a Card Clan Shaman on the play, so that um, making sure that it's going to work. And here's that
And
toxin
toxic as
analysis.
well. One thing to note about prismatic strands, as I've played a lot with it, is that if you're not expecting to block with that Rafine's Informant or any creatures up on the board there, just name a color your opponent's playing. Sometimes it's going to be better than worse.
Mm-hmm.
And even red there could have delayed it for a turn, and maybe there's a second one in hand, but
It's pretty safe to name red, honestly,
yeah,
because all the sort of damage, all the kill spells are red. They're not running like cast downs and stuff. Um,
which it would protect against.
it's true, yeah. So it's pretty safe there to name red. Okay, wow. Marcus actually now has more cards than Dave does. Oh, they have the same amount of cards. They each have one card in hand. Okay. Marcus now has
Wow.
this is an amazing multiport.
Yeah, especially with the next turn, you can crack that Blood Fountain to get back a Krark Clan and the third Refurbished Familiar, or just two
Mm-hmm.
Refurbished Familiars now. This is a wonderful stabilization from Grixis.
I agree. And Dave just being okay with the trade and drawing a card. And wow, okay, getting into the red zone there. I like that. And I imagine
White
that
doesn't have any hasty creatures, so there's no reason not to.
okay, opting to just get double refurb down. What do you think about that as opposed to getting the Car Clan Shaman?
White Weenies, if there's one creature on board, they're really weak because their kill spells are sort of in the +2 to everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
think hitting the hand attack, especially with one of these cards being held open, will be more card advantage. And then as soon as White Weenies are out of cards, the Refurbished Familiars will draw a card, which if
Yes.
Grixis draws a card, it's more value than just killing one creature from the White Weenies player.
Okay, I agree with that. And a Prismatic Strands on the board, and then now they're going to draw a card. And wow, this actually looks like Marcus really turned this game around.
Yeah. One good board wipe is all you need against White Weenies, and that Cart Clan Shaman certainly did work.
Yeah, I agree. Although I would usually would imagine that you cut some amount of Clan Shamans because they do run a lot of flyers, between the Core Sky Fishers and the Battle Screeches and everything.
What I tend to see with the Karkland shamans is keeping them in just so you can get that combo with toxin analysis, and
Mm-hmm.
then let your own flyers control the air, your Utron
Okay,
monitors and your refurbished familiars, because they will always pretty much trade favorably with your opponent. The Utrons being able to block anything in the air, and the Furbies getting a card and then trading with another one is
got it.
always going to end up in your favor.
And I imagine that with this Eagles, yeah, he's getting the idyllic range and he's just going to make this a 2-3. That's a pretty nice play. Um, do you. So that means that even if you were to double block, but I imagine that Marcus here is just going to let Dave through. He's not going to block
Yeah,
this.
letting the damage through, you're taking a 5-turn clock versus a 3-turn clock. Grixis takes that any day, especially if there's a Galvanic Blast somewhere in the top cards.
Ooh. And here we get
Journey is
another journey. But you're feeling
definitely
pretty
makes it closer.
safe because you also have this cryogen relic, right? So you can always just get it. You can always just stun it for a while, which is exactly
Yep.
what he ends up doing. That's a free run token.
Stun counter, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. I imagine that this is going to be a thought cast. Yep. And maybe just tapping out here for a Iker Wellspring, or do you think that Marcus is going to hold up interaction? Looks like holding up
I
interaction.
Yeah, holding up a cast down is probably going to be better, which I think I saw in the hand there. Uh, Especially just because if there's another creature like a
Mm-hmm.
Lunark veteran, then oh, no interaction left. I wonder if it was
Okay.
bluffing something then.
Yeah, I imagine it was bluffing or having maybe it's a draw spell. I definitely see a, a black spell in there, and I think that
Yeah.
Marcus is now approaching the drawing six lands phase of the game that you were alluding to
Yes.
earlier.
It was a Reckoner's Bargain. Okay, so
Yeah,
gains 2 and draws 3 cards. As long as they're not all lands, the cycle
doesn't
will go
seem like
on.
it is. Yeah, and looks like at
Oh, a
least one
Nihil
Nihil
Spellbomb and another
Spellbomb.
Reckoner's Bargain. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's one strength currently in the graveyard, so getting that Nihil off is going to be definitely beneficial.
yeah.
Because considering you can fog a full turn of Furbies, can sometimes buy White Weenies enough time to make it up.
Now, do you think David was punished there by not naming red on the prismatic strands? It's kind of opened the game wide up, right? Although I guess that Marcus could have just done it on his upkeep, so it doesn't really change too much.
It wouldn't have changed too much. The only thing that would have changed is if he had another prismatic strands,
Hmm.
forcing an actual like second sacrifice of an artifact or something on a board that the only leftover artifacts were going to be more lands,
Yeah,
and that would have put Marcus back. I think that it's a good safe play in case the thing that Marcus is fishing for is a Galvanic Blast instead of a Karkland Shaman. Would have been a little bit harder to tempo out that.
for sure. This is a great top deck in a core Skyfisher. And this Moonarch veteran really doing work here, stabilizing the board for David. This has been a really back and forth game. Like I initially thought that maybe David was losing after the Clockern Shaman, but now it kind of feels like it's back in favor of David.
Yeah, not drawing any Mirror Enforcers here is honestly pretty unlucky, as Grixis has already gone through half of the deck.
Yeah. And it looks like with the core Skyfisher, he just grabbed the idyllic range and made it a 3/4 flyer.
Which
Oh,
is definitely something that is worth Galvlasting. And
for
there's the Mirror
sure.
Enforcer.
Yeah. Although not the good art. So is it really even a mirror enforcer?
It's always a Mirror Enforcer. And there's the Galvanic Blast on the core Skyfisher.
Yep. Oh, okay, but it looks like we're going to prismatic strands on red.
Yep.
Maybe
That's
Marcus
why I
didn't
was.
see that.
I think it was missed because it wasn't out of the graveyard. That's why I kind of wanted the Spellbound to be sacked the turn before with the 2 open mana, but I think he
Hmm.
was greeting for the draw 3 with the Reckoner's Bargain he has in hand.
That's fair. And more, it also seems like Marcus didn't realize that I was in there. Certainly, the game has been back and forth. Sometimes it's easy to forget a flashback spell.
Very true. Although I think that Skyfisher is kind of forced to stay back forever, because if it ever attacks, then there's going to be a swing back and then another one from the Cryogen Relic being
Hmm.
sacrificed, and that will be more than enough to close out the game in my head.
I agree. Yeah. And Dave is actually fairly new to the Pauper scene, although I know that he's played Pauper before, and we see a Thraben Charm on the Mirror Enforcer.
And sack
Okay,
it to gain 7.
and draw two.
Very good effect.
Ooh, and another Gal
Although
Blast.
that Galvanic Blast is certainly going to open the battlefield. I'm curious if that's going to be used on the core Skyfisher itself or on face, as he is only a 10. Oh, a full swing. Any
Interesting.
cards in hand that I'm seeing? Because
No, I
this,
don't think there's any cards in hand, because is that almost lethal? That is lethal. Why is he even blocking here?
yeah,
Because you're not going to die. That's very interesting.
that was strange. And that Lunarch Veteran's going to come back as a flyer to help clog up the air
No,
one more
because he's gonna sack it in the combat
Oh,
step.
there you go.
Yeah,
Very good. Huh.
very
That
interesting.
was
I
very
would have just
interesting.
like not blocked, but
I would have
maybe
taken the damage knowing that there wasn't a fear of a Guardian's Pledge and being able to try and fight back with Galvanic Blast.
yeah, I agree. Maybe a little focused on. I mean, it is a big board, you know.
Big board.
Okay, just cryoing the 3/4. It looks like a lot of lands again. All right, well that's huge. This
That is amazing.
yeah, they should
Two
really
more
swing it
recurring
back.
failures. Yeah.
Well, I imagine you get back at least one
Mirror
enforcer,
Enforcer?
right?
Yeah, I guess I was more worried about having chump blockers forever for that Mirror Enforcer.
Oh, looks
But
like they just
luckily that
scoop
was
it up.
enough. Yeah.
All right, the blood fountain did it. And Marcus, wow, gotta give him kudos here. Wins from a
Yeah.
multi four. It really looked like it was rough times for him, but
It,
you
it was
know,
a multi 4 and also in below 5 HP, I believe, at the beginning before that Karkland Shaman.
yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 or something along those lines. Definitely very, very sick. And there you see the envelops in a sideboard.
Yeah. A
What would
great
you bring
card, just
in?
not matchup. For this one, for the Grixis side of it, assuming that I'm seeing envelop, which means there's probably not a dispel.
Hmm.
If dispel is there, then that would absolutely be brought in. I would bring in the last Clan Shaman, which is often played in the sideboard, as well as if there's an excess toxin analysis or Arms of Hadar or something. I'm not
Sometimes
sure
they play the
exactly
breath
what.
weapon.
Breath Weapon possibly. Whatever Marcus's sideboard did, I would bring in all the sweepers, and it looks like
Hmm.
one extra Nihil Spellbomb, which is not coming in, as I was just put back.
Okay, I agree with that. You already have two or three in the main, so no reason to really keep them. And I think that post board, White should be sideboarding out some amount of prismatic strands. I think.
Yes, I think one or two tends to come out in place of Dust to Dust,
Yeah,
but that is also use personal preference on how much you're scared of that Karkland Shaman.
for sure. And I think that from the White side, I would bring in whatever amount of Dust to Dust you have, and then probably bring in one or two Journey to Nowheres because it is kind of like the best answer to a Mirror Enforcer because it gets around the Blood Fountains, and Grixis doesn't really have a great way of interacting with an enchantment.
Yes.
And I think I would take out
In fact,
probably the Prismatic Strands. Sorry, yeah, go on, yeah.
as far as I'm aware, Grixis doesn't have a way at all, at least meta playable, to remove an enchantment.
Yeah, and I don't even think like Turn Aside does anything. It's not. It's because it's a counter spell, mostly. Yeah, yeah. And as for what I would take out, I would take out the 1 to 2 prismatic strands and maybe like you can always trim some line of inspectors. I feel like maybe trim a Leonardo or two. I don't know. What would you think that you would come out on your side from the White
I
Weenie?
think that Grixis has enough ways to interact with that Leonardo that I would agree cutting one of them would be pretty reasonable. As spending that much on a card and possibly damage that you're counting on that just instantly dies feels really bad. It doesn't provide any additional value. Um, from the Grixis side, I think that just trimming on pretty much everything seems more than reasonable enough.
Yeah.
Maybe one draw spell back, one artifact back, just slowly building it out because all you really want to do with the Grixis sideboard is buy yourself enough time to contribute to your main game plan, and that will sometimes involve not necessarily needing a faster start with
Hmm.
maybe Blood Fountain Mirror Enforcer, but instead having that same long drawn out value just backed up with a Karkland Shaman or a Breath Weapon.
Yeah, and it looks like Marcus has a Kenku main that he took out, which makes a lot of sense
Kenku,
because Kenku's really bad into Dust to Dust. It's a huge
it's
blowout.
added to Dust and Journey to Nowhere and Thraben Charm from the graveyard.
Oh
It's
yeah, it's
White's
just
worst enemy. Or yeah,
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And really here from the White Weenie side of things, the name of the game is just Dust to Dust. Dust to Dust often, Dust to Dust on turn 3. If you can cheat it out, Dust to Dust turn 2. I don't know.
you're playing your Lotus Petal in your Weenies list now.
Exactly, exactly. No, paper only play is to play turn 2 Dust to Dust with 2 lands out. Just do it with confidence, you know?
Ah, Dust to
Mm,
Dust being an absolutely brutal card if you can cast it on turn 3, especially because White Weenie's going to be on the play here.
hmm.
Marcus, I always try to keep a hand with more lands in it, and I hope that that's what he's doing here, because you always have to be worried about how do I recover from having 0 lands on turn 3.
Yeah, this is one of the games where you're really happy to see 3/4 lands in your opening hand. And it looks like Dave is taking a mulligan and Marcus is thinking about this one. It looks like it has at least 3/4 lands, but it doesn't have any real action in it. It doesn't have any kill spells, and it doesn't have any real. It has a draw spell. It looks like, and maybe a sewer cam. I think.
Yeah, and having that draw spell, I think, is honestly more than enough that I would feel comfortable keeping that hand.
Same.
Just because drawing into any sort of interaction or creatures with Grixis Affinity, especially
Hmm.
post Utrom Monitor, is just so. It happens very often.
Yeah, Utah Monitor. We have not discussed this card yet, and I think that it's big game in this matchup because I think that for a long time, Core Skyfisher reigned supreme because it's just like nothing could really block it in the Grixis deck, and now Utah Monitor is like a really nice land flying blocker.
Yeah, I think that there's pretty much nothing in the sky except a Sagu Wildling that can contest that Utrom Monitor. A
Yeah,
Revoke Existence on the tap land,
dang.
beautiful. Uh, Yeah, having Dust to Dust and Revoke Existences will certainly favor this in White Weenies post board.
Revoke Existence comes in and out of favor. I think that it's probably good to have nowadays because there's so many artifacts in Tron as well.
I was gonna say especially for Tron because if I'm not mistaken, it's Exile in Artifact. Is that the enchantment one or is that the toughness one?
Oh, that's the no.
Is it
This is
Artifact
the artifact or enchantment. That's the
enchantment? Okay.
yeah. You're thinking destroy evil,
Yes,
which is
that is
destroy
correct.
target with toughness 4 or more, or
Yeah.
destroy target enchantment. And we see here
Uh,
that he's playing a Battle Screech. Obviously, the Nihil Spellbomb is on the side, so probably not going to get the backside of that, but who knows? Doesn't have any black, so he would just be doing it to get rid of 2 attackers.
which honestly might be more than enough to do at this point. But it looks like
Ooh.
he passed it over,
No, this
tapping
is
down one of the birds.
that's a
Flashback
very
can't
cool
happen.
play. What do you think of that? I think that play is sick. I think that's such a good play.
I think that is a fantastic play because I think that he was counting on getting that battle screech out and then moving from there.
Mm-hmm.
This buys another turn to find a Vault of Whispers so you can get value off of that Nihil Spellbomb.
Yeah, for sure. But here we have a ooh, okay. Plays an idyllic range and with the trigger on the stack, Galvanic Blossom. Wow, so Marcus really all guns blazing here.
Yeah, I think that Galvanic Blast with still some mana open is an interesting choice to play there because you're already at the 4 damage breakpoint, so having one or two more counters on there wouldn't have caused it to live.
Especially with this Mirror Enforcer. Maybe he just top decked the Mirror Enforcer. I don't remember seeing that in his hand earlier.
I don't
Um,
think it was.
yeah, so he just drew it. I don't know. I think a 2/3 is pretty hard to deal with unless you have exactly Mirror Enforcer. Where here we have
Yeah,
a Luminarch, and with this on the stack is really the only chance that Marcus has to use this Nihil Spellbomb, but not going to get any additional value, not going to draw a card from it.
but with a Mirror Enforcer on the ground, having those extra birds buys 1 turn per bird of survival, as well as just it can't block the birds. So
Yeah.
I think this is more than enough value, and you don't have to go for the card with it.
Yeah, and it's 2 life. I don't know if that's like super important, but oh, okay.
Oh,
With
Gal Blast as well? Yeah.
okay. Really valuing. I don't know why. I guess really just wants to draw the card, but very interesting. Okay, now with this on the stack, thinking about the Nihil Spellbomb and going to Spellbomb it, but did a really good job here controlling the board, um, making sure that the Battle Screech wasn't going to get full value. That looks like it's a that I think is a Destroy Evil.
Yeah. Which I think was
Oh no,
Revoke
no,
Existence or that Mirror
must have been
Enforcer.
a Revoke existence because the Mirror Force is exiled.
Yes.
Yeah. This has been a real
White Weenies once again.
sorry, go on.
Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say this
White
has been
Weenies
a
showing all the value. Oh
yeah.
gosh, is it lagging?
No, I think we just both are very excited to talk. Please go
Go for
ahead.
it. No.
All right, we have another. Um, we have another Battle Screech here, and another Battle Screech after that. I think that this is going to be very firmly in favor of the White Weenies now with this board, unless you have
Yeah,
the
Mirror
Breath
Enforcer.
Weapon. But yeah, you were going to say something about white weenie value, and I cut you off multiple
Yeah,
times, so I'm sorry.
you're fine. The value really being shown where every card is replacing itself. Still, now with that refurbished familiar having 0 cards in hand, but still having kept up a card in hand while playing a creature, getting 1-for-1 removal for like 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I would actually say that despite the early game being sort of favored, I think for Marcus, David has really top decked well and played this well, and I think that is now fairly commanding position. Going to just
I
draw a
agree.
card with a clue token. Yeah.
The thing you got to know is that Sewer Valence Cam still has two cards underneath it, essentially, as
Hmm.
well as possibly even a full turn bot with the tapping of an effect of one of the creatures. But I think that Grixis doesn't want to sacrifice it that way often.
No, and I think that that costs 4 mana, so can't do it right now. Would have to almost fully tap out to do that.
Yeah, but sometimes in these long grindy games, you are able to do that, unless of course there's a Guardian's Pledge
Yeah,
hidden somewhere in the hand.
the one card hand. Yeah, I don't know. It just like thought cast
Thoughtcast is
remark.
perfect.
Yeah, just really need to get back into this game, get some more removal. What did you think about Marcus's decision to use so much removal earlier on, to keep that one battle screech going?
I think that if you were removing creatures that weren't the 1/1 birds, then it's reasonable. But I think that you might have had to bite the bullet and just sacrifice that spell bomb for the screech, maybe the first, maybe the second time,
Hmm.
as there's just left so many creatures still on the battlefield, and now you're down two pieces of removal that could have been used to help race or even remove larger threats.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, and it felt like it was a little aggressive. I like the sewer cam game play a lot. I thought that was really
The
heads
Seer
up.
King is beautiful.
Yeah, but I would have just used a nil spell bomb instead of the two god blasts. I think, um, because now you're facing quite the board, and you only have this lone refurb.
Yeah. One refurbished familiar held back by the 1/1 bird.
Yeah, right. I think
Doesn't.
that's four birds, to be honest.
Oh, is there dice on there? There is a dice on there.
Yeah,
That's
because
a
he
lot of birds,
casts.
Red.
It's a lot of birds. All right. Core Skyfisher just for a little bit of value, and debating if he wants. Looks like he was thinking about just cracking the clue right away. But this seems
Yeah,
pretty
so
over.
this is pretty much breath weapon or bust from my perspective.
But even then, you need a breath weapon and another piece of interaction for this core Skyfisher.
Yeah, the Sewer Valence Cam could be sacrificed in a variety of ways to tap it down for one turn, but this is why I think holding on to that Galvanic Blast might have been a better call.
Yeah, I agree. And this is one of the reasons why I don't love the fourth Car Clan Shaman, because it doesn't feel great on board states like this.
Very true. I think that the priority of it being in the early game is enough that putting in that fourth one can often make the difference,
Okay.
just because you want to increase your chances of drawing the combo with Toxin Analysis.
It looks like two Car Clan Shamans in hand. I imagine we're going to see at least one. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then probably tapping down this core Skyfisher. Oh, but even then, yeah, I think you have at least three birds over there, so two of them are going to get across the finish line.
Yeah, if there's no other piece of removal in this hand, then that's going to be it.
Yeah. Might have the Reckoner's Bargain to gain a little bit of life.
A Toxin would also do the same thing, gaining 4 life there,
Oh,
which I
okay.
think, yep, exactly what's played.
Nice. Called it. Putting out the Investigate token, but I think deciding if he wants to just use it right away.
I think that keeping that clue token is going to be beneficial since you're already going to be tapping down with the Sewer Valence Cam,
That's true.
since that needs to hit the Skyfisher.
Yeah, that's very true. So how much life is going to gain here? One, two,
He's going to gain
three.
4 life off of it,
Yeah.
and be able to block one bird and live on one, if I'm not mistaken.
That math is mathing with me.
3 damage, lives on 3 from this.
Yeah, and looking through sideboard to see if he wants to make any differences for game two. Okay. Journey to Nowhere
Journey.
on the. But notably does have the envelop. Just going to say no. Oh, envelop doesn't do
Envelop.
anything. Yeah, it doesn't do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, you're right. Um, all right. Sorry for tripping over each other's words there for a little bit, but I think that was an interesting game. A lot more favored for White Weenie there. Just like getting all the
Yes.
right tempo plays. I feel like.
I would be really interested to know the sideboard from White Weenies that we have here, considering that we know there's Dust to Dust and Revoke Existence in there. I'd be
Hmm.
curious to see the split.
Usually it's 4 and 2, but we also
Wow.
saw 4 and 2 usually, so it's a lot. It's a lot, a lot.
That
Let
is a
me pull
lot.
it up on the side real quick and see if I can get just like a goldfish one so that we can get a general idea. And then I'll try to get his deck out for the. I'll try to have the deck up with the video.
Mhm.
Let's see. No white weenie has trophy today, unfortunately. White aggro, here we go.
But yeah, Envelop feeling like a significantly worse card when the only artifact removal that was played was instant.
Yeah. Yes. Although you have to bring it in. You like
You
you
have
don't
to,
have a choice. Yeah. You know,
yeah.
honestly, looking through a couple lists, I see destroy evils. I see 3 to 4 dust to dusts, and I see some amount of journey to nowheres in the sideboard. Usually 2 in the sideboard. I don't see a lot of revoke existences anymore. So maybe
Yeah,
this is just something that David decided to value highly.
the thing that I've always seen is, yeah, again, destroy evil with the toughness ability on it and the journey to nowheres. But
Yeah.
revoke existence, especially this week, was the one right after the Hobbit when people were starting to try out their Tron builds for the next week when Boulder actually gets released. So I think it was a very relevant call.
Well, I think people were playing Boulder this week as well.
Oh, it's legal week for Boulder. All right.
Yeah, I think that they changed the rules so as soon as it's pre-release time, it's legal.
Well, in that case, I think having those extra artifact removal is a perfect call for that week.
Yes, I agree. And in fact, I played Tron rounds 2 and 3 this week. I played
Okay, okay.
Monster Tron and then I played Pingertron. Um,
Yeah, I think Monstertron got infinitely better as suddenly they have a way to interact with not a creature.
yes, I think that Monster Tron is legitimately tier 1 right now. It can be hated out, and it does have some weaknesses to like. I think Red Rally. It's like Red Rally is like pretty decent into it, and like I think Elves is pretty decent into it. But it definitely got a huge boost. And I was playing Control, and the person just put like 3 Maelstrom Colossuses on the stack, and they're like, "You have 2 blue up." I was like, "I think you're fine. Like, I think you have like just 21 damage, plus a kill ship, plus like a random relic or whatever."
Yeah. All
Um,
the more reason I want to play my
Ephemeratron.
Hypertron.
Yeah,
Yeah, destroys Monstertron in my opinion.
I think so too. I think that like combo quote unquote is really good into the Monstertron builds. We see here a Lunarch veteran and a refurb against played by Marcus.
Discarding a land, so there's excess lands on the White Weenies side. So honestly, maybe a relief that it's a refurbished start and not one where you're going to have lands stuck in your hand.
For sure. And I like this attack by the Lunarch veteran, just like recognizing that chipping in here is important.
And it's also a really bad trade for Marcus since that Lunarch is always a 2-for-1 from the graveyard, and so
Hmm.
knowing that that damage is always going to go through.
Very true. Looks like a tap land and a Vault of Whispers in hand. Gonna play the tap land. Interesting. Must not have an untapped blue source here.
All right, do
Um,
we have a dust?
yeah, that's the question. This is the turn to do it. Looks like maybe a revoke. No, just a core
Of course.
Skyfisher. Yep, just playing the the inspector back.
Of course, Skyfisher is going to gum up the air so that Refurbished Familiar can't get in for any more chip damage. It's also going to start beating down relatively soon.
Yeah, and I imagine we see a dot cast here. Oh no, a surveillance cam. Okay,
Never.
so wanting the attack. Interesting.
I think that that attack also maybe signifies that there is a sack spell in hand,
Hmm.
so that that surveillance cam can prevent the core Skyfisher from getting any more damage in.
Yep, that's very true. We did see the dot cast into a mirror enforcer. Wow, very good.
Start.
Yeah. And now, if I had a dust to dust, if I drew a dust to dust, and I was David, I would probably just hit the refurb and I would start hitting creatures.
Yeah, I would agree with that, though. I think that it's notable to cut completely off of blue with the 2 tap lands being exiled, or off of red with the 1 Great Furnace,
Okay.
which can be certainly important in games. I might look at it and try to hit the Great Furnace and the Mirror Enforcer if I were to cast one.
Great Furnace and Mirror Enforcer, just valuing cutting them off red. Okay, I hadn't thought of that, but I agree with you. Um, Looks like an idyllic range to make a 3/4 Skyfisher, followed into Battle Screech, and then I think just probably just flashbacking this Battle Screech right away to have 4 birds in the air, 4 life, and not a care in the world.
And that counter on the core Skyfisher does so much more than just one counter. It now means that that Skyfisher is going to be the biggest creature on the battlefield, even if an Utrom comes down.
For sure, yeah. And here we see Marcus wanting the 3 cards rather than tapping down this core Skyfisher. I see at least one Clan Shaman in there. And a Nihil Spellbomb. A little late on the Nihil Spellbomb.
Yeah, especially with so many flyers already on the board. The same weakness that you were talking about earlier. I really hope there's a breath weapon somewhere in the sideboard, and that'll be drawn soon from the Grixis Affinity deck here. As I don't know how there's going to be a comeback from all of this right now.
Yeah, I agree. I did see when Marcus was going through his sideboard, I did see a breath weapon. I didn't see if he put it in, but he must have not had it in game 2 on the play. It might have brought it. I would think it makes sense to bring in game 3 on the draw.
I would honestly be really surprised if it wasn't in there for game 2 as well. But
Okay, it didn't look
maybe,
like it was.
yeah, he's played a lot more Affinity than I have, so I'd be
Mm-hmm.
curious to get the thoughts on that.
Looks like a okay. So one piece of nice. So we do see a potential. I think maybe a makeshift munitions on the board, in the hand.
Really good.
Yeah, I hate seeing that card as an elf player. I hate seeing that card. It's so obnoxious. Also, fairies. Literally every single deck that I play does not like to see makeshift musicians.
I mean, with Gates, we talk about the only card that can lose us the game is our Affinity matchup is a wonderful until Makeshift Munitions is played.
Yeah, such an important one of fairies the same way. You're like mono blue fairies especially like fine into affinity unless they draw the makeshift munitions, in which case you are not fine.
Yes, 100%. The advent of Thraben Charms certainly saved me. A perfect
Nice.
kill on that Skyfisher. 3 damage in the air is a lot for the clock.
For
Now that
sure.
Furby may also be able to do something at some point.
Yeah. So 4 birds here and 2 creatures on the ground. Just getting in with everything. And choosing to block the Lunarch veteran over the birds. Interesting.
That that is an interesting one, and you can see the punish here with the Leonardo bouncing the other inspector back to hand, getting an additional
Yeah.
draw from that. I think that blocking the Lunarch is a rough call because either they're going to continue gaining the life or you're going to kill it and they get to recast it as a flyer.
Yeah, I would have blocked the Thraben Inspector, I guess.
I think Marcus knows with this makeshift munitions in hand that if he can cut them off of life early, then maybe that munitions can cause a surprise win.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to buy that. Goes down to 6.
Second Mirror Enforcer is huge here.
Yeah, could bring him back into the game. Which I feel as though the game is kind of slipping out of control here.
I agree. I think that Grixis needs a good draw to get back in this.
Yeah, yeah. And I imagine that we're going to see a makeshift munitions here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Holding open 4 mana, 3 of which can ping down that Leonardo,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder if that's even going to be the case. But no, we're
No,
going to
because you
start
have
chipping at the
the.
bird.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Strand. But we can go on top of that, and there's still a card draw on the stack.
Yeah,
Sacrifices 3 lands to get the birds out, all but one.
yeah, gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Gets a spell bomb. Not actually, that's not a bad draw at all. 2
No, there's
mana
a
to
prismatic strand still in the graveyard.
yeah.
Interesting hand. Looks like a tap land, a Seed of the Synod, and a. Oh, okay. Revoke Existence coming in clutch. Maybe he's running Revoking Existence instead of Dust to Dust?
That seems insane.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree. Alright. So I imagine that we see the Clan Shaman here followed by the makeshift munitions on the bird. That's what I would want to see.
Yeah, I think a nihil has to be down this turn and cracked
Hmm,
before or anywhere there before casting or pinging with the makeshift munitions.
I would agree with
Uh,
that.
just because, I mean, there's going to be an incidental. If we name red here, that's where you really see value.
Okay, and just no value. Um, okay,
Oh, it will be cast. And I assume that that's named red. There's not a reason to
there's
name
no
anything
reason
else.
not to, right? So then, kind of forcing the. Okay, just paying the 1 mana to draw, not putting anything on the stack with that.
I think, yeah, I think it's reasonable. You can kill the bird on the next step.
Well, you can do a pretty cute play here, right? You can put the Karkan Shaman pings on the stack, and then with your last mana, kill it to kill the bird.
Yeah, I think that that's very reasonable and possibly what's going to happen here. I also think that there's a world in which you just ping down the bird with the surveillance cam, tapping the Leonardo, and trying to buy another turn to find an answer.
Yeah, I would. That makes sense. Both of those, I think, are good plays. Here we see an Eagles of the North getting an idyllic range. This has been a
And
tight
this is a
game.
very scary moment because yeah, that counter actually does a lot into this board state.
Yeah, so it looks like indicating that the counter is going to go onto the bird and just sacking a
Another
land.
strand.
Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Hmm. At this point, I feel like you have to kill the surveillance camera to kill. Oh, wait, you can't. No, to tap down the bird.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And a land? Okay, yeah.
sacking everything to munitions to try and get a kill before that strand resolves.
Yes. So it's on the stack and they can't tap it.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. So notably, though, the bird does get the 1/1 token on it.
it does. So it's going to take two artifacts or creatures in order to kill that with the munitions.
Holy shit. Extract the
Oh, we have
confession.
an extracted confession.
Wow. So, David here, 0 cards in hand, but 3 clues. And Marcus on 2 with 1 card in hand and a makeshift munitions on the board. Going to crack a clue. Plays it Leonardo. This feels like it's
Oh,
pretty close. Pretty close to over.
yeah. Technically can remove it with the lands, but needs anything.
Yeah. Really
It's also
love the way
protected
that
by
he played. Oh,
surveillance.
Utron Monitor. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Blood Fountain.
All
Okay,
right.
if there's a single removal spell, a journey or a revoke from the White Weenies player, that's going to be
Oh
game.
my god. Looks like he top decked the
There it
journey.
is. That's game.
Wow. Okay. And had the Inspector. What a game.
That was
What a
very well
series of
played from both
games.
sides.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Going to shift back to our faces now. Um,
Right?
that was amazing. Those are 3 really good games, I feel like.
Yeah, I think
Marcus
both of
winning
them
on a
played
mole to 4.
the Mold of 4 was wild. Absolutely insane to make that comeback. Shows really the strength of Grixis Affinity in recovering card advantage and grinding through anything your opponent can do.
Yeah, I agree. But you were starting to say something. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that both sides played extremely well. I would be very curious to know the sideboarding choices and what we have from either of the players, considering we saw no Dust to Dust and we didn't see a Breath Weapon in game 2 or 3,
Hmm.
especially in some scenarios which those could be possible game enders. So I'd be curious to know what lists people were running, and I'll definitely look when this video's out.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Marcus definitely and Dave as well. I'm curious about the number of Revoke and Dust to Dust as well because Revoke used to be seen a lot, but I can't remember it. Like I was looking at some lists and I just didn't see it. So maybe that's a David special. Maybe he's just had
I
really good experiences with that deck with that card.
The thing you also should probably consider for Pauper is that you said Dave was relatively new to the format and maybe doesn't have Dust to Dust yet and has Revokes instead.
I think that he's no he. I think he's played Pauper before. He's played it for a
Yeah.
lot but he doesn't come very often. He's more of a modern player.
That makes
Um,
sense.
and I think he might be coming because of the 1K. He usually plays all the big tournaments, so he's probably practicing for the 1K in September, and then yeah, getting himself ready, for, getting the reps in for that.
Well,
Um,
White Weenies is certainly a good choice. I feel like it has a favorable matchup into a lot of decks and can
yeah,
certainly play the grind game as we saw in game 3.
I agree. I'm curious about how the meta is going to sort of look with their new Tron overlords. Um, Although I will say that the challenges, Tron has been doing well in the challenges, but hasn't been like dominating the challenges. Um, so interested to see if how White Weenie fits into the new meta, but it certainly was very strong into the previous meta.
I think that regardless of how good Monstertron's going to be, Weenies is always going to be at least a little bit favored into it because
Hmm.
they have the ability to remove creatures and remove those artifacts as we saw in this game. And that destroying of just one permanent that the Boulder is going to add to Tron is, I don't think, going to be very valuable in the White Weenies matchup. So I think that they're going to
Okay.
still have a pretty good set.
And they do play four breath weapons, but you do have prismatic strands is legitimately good into breath weapon, so that's good. Um,
Yes.
I would think that Monstertron is probably favored game one though, if I were to just like think about it.
100%. Anyone with artifacts into White Weenies seems to be favored game 1 and then loses games 2 and 3
Yeah,
from the side.
I would think so too. I would think so too. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the way Marcus played in those games. It There's a lot of moments where I felt as though um, I would have personally thrown in the towel a little bit, but Marcus showing why he's a top four player really, and just sticking through and winning some of those like kind of impossible scenarios.
Yeah, I love seeing games from Marcus and playing against him. It feels like he gives it his all, even in those hopeless scenarios, knowing what
Yeah,
outs to play for and how to actually hit them to turn those losses into wins.
for sure, and that's a really valuable skill. Um, yeah, I think that that's all I have. Is there anything you want to talk about, say, before we stop the recording?
I think that's about it. I hope to maybe be back on as a player at some point. We got to see Gates at one time.
We saw Gates run one, but it was Esper Gates. It wasn't. It was like a very brewish version of it. Still did well though. But yeah, I mean, are you playing this Thursday?
I will be there this Thursday, but I'm deciding on whether or not I commit to Flickr or not.
Well, okay, fair enough. Let me know if you're on Coggates. I'll for sure put you on. We'll think about
Awesome.
it
That
if you're
sounds
on
like a fun time.
Flickertron.
You don't want to have a Flickertron recording? That's crazy.
I don't want to have like a 4 hour long record. I mean, I guess they're time runs, but yeah.
Oh, thank you
Oh,
so much for having me. I
yeah.
love this experience, and I'm glad that you're making these videos to help spread some of the people that we have here in Colorado, as well as show our Pauper scene.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun to make, and definitely have you on again. This was super fun. Sorry for talking
Oh, you're good.
the babble, I guess, but yeah, I thought this was really smooth, and hopefully the people like it. Um,
Yeah,
all right, thank you so much,
of course. Thank you.
and see you all.